Hi there, I'm Shawna Robbins, founder and CEO of Third Spark. And today I have the pleasure of doing an Authority Magazine interview on why you should make getting a good night's sleep a priority in your life. I'm here with Jessica Lederhausen. She's a dentist in training and advocate for public health, and she founded the Lagom Method. As a mother of four, a grandmother to many, and author of Oral, the Swedish Secret to Full Body Health, starting in your mouth. Overall health can be enhanced, according to her, by making small adjustments to our eating, sleeping, breathing, and movement habits. Hi, Jessica. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, and thank you for having me.
Of course, it's my pleasure. All right, so I love all things sleep. I think sleep is one of the most important things that we can discuss, and how we can level up our sleep is incredibly important, especially for women. We tend not to get enough sleep at all, especially as we age. So can you talk to me about how you became interested in sleep as a dentist?
Well, personally, being dentist or not, I've always been aware of my own sleep. And then as I had kids, I made sure they went to bed at 7 sharp until they were way too old. So I'd taken it seriously. And the angle of being a dentist, I mean, we see things in the mouth when you see patients. So it's there for grinding, or it's a whole range of things. Because if you wake up with a dry mouth, it means you probably slept with an open mouth, which means you probably don't sleep that well. And there's a lot of things that goes into the mouth. But since I did research for my book, I really dove in, because I felt sleep is one of the life pillars that we need to take seriously. And as a society, it seems like we get a badge if we don't sleep one night. It's not funny at all. I don't think it's worth it for a second. So it's one of my one of my 4 pillars that I really dove into.
Yeah, talk to me about those pillars. I know you wrote about them in your article, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about them.
Yes, I've been coaching the last 10 years or so, health, lifestyle coaching. It all came down to sleep, eat, and love. No, sorry, so you have to take that out. Eat, move, love was my first 3 core things I really looked at and spoke to with people for the lifestyle. Then when I came to the conclusion, I need to write a book about the connection between the mouth and the body. It wasn't talked about enough. As we learned more about the microbiome, the gut microbiome took me to the oral microbiome. So then sleep was an obvious one. And the eating habits, not just specifically what you eat, but when, what, how. And then the breathing comes in. It's always there. I mean, it comes in sort of with the sleep, but also with just everyday movement, which is the 4th pillar. So they interact, and it all leads to the mouth in a way or other, but it's the same way. It's all the microbiome and the pH, and the saliva is doing its work. It's a lot of it, but it's all connected.
Oh, that's so wonderful to think about, right? Because I think a lot of women especially think that they don't understand why they don't sleep well, and it becomes very frustrating for them, especially if you're dealing with insomnia. And so the idea that you can actually make changes, small changes that can make a difference in your sleep, I think is a really powerful thing, helps people take back that sense of control. So I was asking you before we started, and I really want to know what your thought is on mouth taping, because I get this question a lot from people. Can you just talk a little bit about that and what your thoughts are?
Well, I'm not a gambler. I'm not taking big chances person, but if you have a moderate sleep apnea or sleep snoring, I would say, sleep snoring, or if you don't sleep well, or if you just, sleep well, you think you sleep well, why not try it? So you tape your mouth to train your muscles around your lips to close your mouth when you're sleeping. It's a tool for something else. So it's not the taping that's the actual outcome. I mean, it's what it can help you, train you to do. So I always suggest in the evening, put a small piece of tape. There's surgical tapes, there's specific sleep tapes you can buy, but anything just to try it and feel how it feels. And if you, like me, almost panicked the first time, you really need to practice probably nose breathing, because the nose is made for breathing. because it gives you anti-inflammatory. It filters the what comes in. It produces nitric oxide if it's used properly. The whole area, actually, the mouth and sinuses. So there are a lot of benefits from nose breathing. It also calms you down when you nose breathe, both in and out. But when you use your mouth, there's nothing I have found that is like a positive with that. It's only the negative, that you get dry mouth and etc. And more of a panic situation when you're open mouthed, you're very high on things. And instead of calming down so you can sleep or just fall asleep, you know.
I think that's such great advice. You know, I always teach my clients to do box breathing, that the Navy SEALs use before they go into battle to calm themselves. It's such a great thing to do during the daytime, which helps with sleep, especially if they wake up in the middle of the night. I recommend box breathing. But you're right. I never specify breathing through the nose, but that is the way that you're supposed to do these breathing exercises. And I've never thought about that as the methodology for calming the body. So I think that that's a really helpful thing. There's so much stress related to sleep. Either your cortisol levels are too high and you can't fall asleep, or you can't stay asleep, or maybe you might even have sleep anxiety because you haven't been sleeping well for a while. So I see where the benefit of mouth tape can not only help you rest, but can also help your body stay more relaxed.
Oh, definitely. Really, truly. It happens. I mean, it sounds silly, but it's actually, I would say, true. I've been sleep taping for 3 years, basically every night. It happens once, I don't know, every other month, that it's off when I wake up for some reason. And I've had these dreams. More stressed out. So I can see it personally, but that's not, everybody's different. But I do believe it. Science shows that parasympathetic system works when you use your nose breathing, and that's the one that calms you down. So it is science behind it, but then it depends how you use it and if it works for you, and a lot of other factors, but it's worth a try.
Yeah, it's always worth a try. I agree with that.
And my fun story
do you tape your whole mouth, or do you tape from the nose down? What's the best way to do it?
I've tried tons of different tapes. Right now, I found a cross tape that I like because I like that, but it depends. I think everybody needs to find their favorite, but it's no duct taping, and it's just closing your mouth. So it's not meant to be scary or overdoing it or underdoing it. So it's safe. It is safe to use your nose. And they say, the regular thing, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I do feel on a little more superficial level, I have less puffy eyes when I wake up. I feel really that my sinuses are opened up because I've been practicing intentionally using my nose for breathing the last years. It takes a while to get into it.
Wow.
And it lowers your pulse. If I'm out running, I do some running. And if I start feeling tired, I make sure I close my mouth, deep, slow, calm breathing. And my pulse goes down and I'm back again. So it's worth trying. The breathing. It's a lot. It sounds like it's a lot, but it's just there to help us.
Yeah, I think that's a great tool, right? It's all about just having the tools in our toolkit that we can use to help ourselves sleep better and just feel more vibrant, especially as we age. So my next question, you had mentioned the microbiome in the mouth as well. We all know that we have a microbiome in our gut, but could you talk a little bit about that? And then I know you recommended in your article that we shouldn't eat anything 3 hours before bed. So I would really love to hear your thoughts on how eating before bed affects the microbiome.
Okay. So maybe you heard of the gut microbiome and leaky gut. So the mouth has microbiome as well. That is the second largest. And it means that we have bacteria, fungi, viruses, etc., living together in communities. And they live in balance together if we give them what they need, which is not stressing, meaning too much coming in the mouth all the time. So I like to say no snacking. Eat your meals. I'm not saying exactly what to eat, but eat when you eat and leave it. And And then that affects the saliva. Saliva is the self-cleaning system, and it all comes down to the pH goes down. That's when we are vulnerable for disease in the mouth. So if we eat, the pH goes down, microbiome, the bacteria grow, take an opportunity to do its work, which is a few of them are bad, the bad guys. But the saliva cleans up. So if we leave the mouth between the meals, it will self-clean to a point. It doesn't work for everybody, but that's sort of how it works. And what was the question about eating? Yeah, eating before going to bed. We heard about this, the intermittent fasting, maybe.
Yes.
Yes. So that got me going a little bit, because I'm thinking, what's the big deal? That's what we sort of used to do. Have dinner at 6, not eat, and then you have breakfast maybe at 7 before you went to school or something. That's already 13 hours. So it's sort of the way we always done it. And then you can expand on it. And I, like I do now, I wait to eat my breakfast a little bit to get more time. But back to the eat before bedtime. It's, again, the same thing. The saliva is the cleaning system we have built in. And it goes to bed with us at night. It slows down. So if you are up late and eat, you're doing two things that are not great for your sleep, I assume. Then you put yourself at risk again for lower pH for longer periods of time. So that affects your oral health. And for the sleep in itself, it makes you, I'm sure you will need to go to the restroom. You are more alert. You get awakened up, because when you eat, you get a boost for a while. So there's a lot of things that is not why you should eat late at night, I guess. Some cultures do it and it seems to work, but where we live in America, we have a rhythm of school starts and work begins. So we sort of have a rhythm if you don't work night shifts, which could be complicated because of all those things I mentioned.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think that's great advice. Now, your background, you're Swedish, you mentioned in your article. So do you find that life in Sweden and sleep and, the focus of your pillars, is it much easier because the lifestyle is different there than in the United States?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see. I would say, I'll start with this one. I think the movement is so different. People move in every day much more. We are not as, it's not about convenience always. So you walk to your grocery store and you schlep the things home again and walk a few stairs and etc. But sleep is the same thing, I think. I would say almost every person I've been speaking with during my circles or coaching I've done the last 5-8 years, whatever number, sleep is the first thing they say. It's an issue. And then, so that seems to be no matter where you are. Breathing, the same thing. We just lost the art of breathing. And eating is more snacking. In Sweden, there's not a word snack, actually. It's we adopted they have now adopted snacking the English word. We call it, there's a word for it, but it's called, translated is a small meal between meals. So meaning real food. Let's say at a preschool, you get a half a banana and some peanut butter, or it's not a packaged something that is not good for you, but you snack and it's okay, which is interesting. So that was 50% sort of similar, and the two things not the same.
All right. Well, that's amazing too. I was thinking that you were telling me that Sweden is just no problem. Everyone sleeps, everybody moves, everybody has great oral health. So it's nice to know that humans are humans wherever they live. And I guess that makes sense because our world, especially after COVID now, the stress level is so much higher than it was beforehand. So I think that you have great advice. I think you're very helpful, especially for women who maybe just need to add an extra hour or two to their sleep. They can focus on their breathing. They can try the mouth taping. They can try to do what they can to not snack before bedtime. I know that's something that I really advocate as well too. Digestion takes so much effort from the body that to rest and digest at the same time is just very challenging. So I certainly resonate with that advice that you give. So how can people find you? Where, tell us about your book. Tell us about, how people can connect with you.
Oh, thank you. That's fun. My book Oral by Jessica Lederhausen, that's how you find it. On my website, I sell a signed hard copy, and then otherwise you can find it in bookstores and Amazon in paperback. And I'm starting courses this fall where I will go through the pillars and also habits creating, so you can actually take action. I've been trained in the tiny habits method, which so resonates with how I'm thinking. So that gave me a tool to use. And then my website is my name, or thelagommethod.com.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thanks.
Great. Well, I hope people can connect with you after this. I really enjoyed chatting with you. And thank you for jumping on here and talking to me about all things sleep so that we can help as many people as we possibly can get a better night's sleep. I know that's my mission, and I see that it's yours too. So
I know. It's so fun that we are so aligned. I love it. It's great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
me too.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, thanks.